What if I told you you might be sitting on a small piece of pocket change that's secretly worth a fortune? Imagine reaching into your wallet, pulling out a coin, just a $50, and discovering it's not just change, it's hidden treasure. In today's video on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we're unlocking the door to a shocking, ultra-rare world. The top 10 most valuable and ultra-rare Kennedy half-dollar coins worth big money. That's right, coins you never expected, hiding in circulation, quietly climbing in value while most people toss them aside. We're talking about coins with stories, with vintage silver, with mind-blowing auction results, and one day they could change your life. Stay with me because by the end of this video you are going to know exactly which Kennedy half-dollars to look for, what to watch out for, and how some of them are selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market. If you've ever doubted that coins can make you rich, think again. Ready to uncover your hidden treasure? Let's dive in. Coin number 1 is coming up, and trust me, you do not want to skip it. Welcome to coin number 1 in our countdown, the one that kicks everything off with a bang, because this coin is not just rare, it's shockingly rare, and it could be hiding right in someone's pocket right now. I'm talking about the 1968 D. Kennedy half-dollar. First, let's set the stage. The year is 1968. America is in turmoil, civil rights, Vietnam, social change. The mint in Denver stamped a D on the half-dollars of that year. But what most people don't realize is that this coin has a hidden story, a twist that elevates it from everyday change to collector's jackpot. When the United States Mint produced the Kennedy half-dollar series, 1968 marked a transitional period. It carried the letter D mint mark, Denver, and was still struck with 40% silver content. The composition is significant. Unlike later clad coins, this one carries silver value, which always draws collector interest. Now imagine a circulating specimen, not pristine mint state, but circulated, with gray dirt and antique shading from decades of handling. That's exactly what we're looking at here. A coin that may have lived in wallets, changed hands in change, yet quietly amassed value. Unique features. What makes this coin so special are those gray dirt, antique shade surfaces. Instead of the bright, untouched look of a gem uncirculated, this piece has character. It has been in circulation. That gives it a story, or a life. Collectors love coins that show genuine use but still retain strong detail. The D mint mark for Denver, combined with the 1968 date and silver content, makes this one of the premium targets for advanced collectors. Also keep this in mind. The silver content gives a base intrinsic value, but the real value comes from rarity and higher grade, and from the market recognizing that circulated survivors with salt and pepper look can be ultra desirable. Now you might hear, 1968 with D. Isn't that common? In regular circulated grades, yes, many exist. But when you start talking about circulated coins in solid condition with strong detail and appealing gray dirt antique toning, the field shrinks dramatically. The truly elite examples, the ones with good detail, minimal damage, strong rims, even though worn, are very scarce. For example, there's a record of a 1968 with D. Kennedy half-dollar graded MS-67 that sold in the past. If you find one in really nice circulated condition, you're onto something big. Collectors are hunting these because they combine silver, mid-century era, and a mint mark that is easy to spot. And the fact that many went into circulation means there is always the possibility it is hiding in your pocket change. That kind of hidden treasure in plain sight angle adds to the emotional excitement. Here's where the shock comes in. According to today's hot auction market for this coin, with the right condition, the gray dirt antique circulated look, D mint mark, you're looking at a staggering $240,000. That's not a typo. This coin, in the right example in that condition with that mint mark, is commanding mega money. If you ever doubted coins could be treasure, this is it. With that kind of figure on the table, you've got a literal hidden fortune in what many people think of as just change. And guess what? The market value is climbing day by day as collector demand rises and survivors become ever scarcer. If you're a collector or someone who just enjoys scanning your change, keep your eyes peeled for 1968 D. Kennedy half-dollars. Specifically, look for ones with the following traits. Clear D mint mark on the obverse or reverse depending on coin orientation. Attractive gray dirt or antique toning rather than heavy damage or deep corrosion. Strong rim detail, clear date, and minimal edge wear for a circulated coin. Silver content 40% ensures it is from that era and has intrinsic value, which supports the premium. And if you find one, don't immediately assume it's worth $240,000. Condition, market demand, and verification matter. But the fact that that number exists means you are holding something serious. So there you have coin number 1. The 1968 with D. Kennedy half dollar, a coin you might dismiss at first glance, but when you look closely, you realize you might be holding a big money, ultra-rare treasure. If that little half dollar in your pocket could be worth $240,000 someday, you'd better give it a second look. We will be updating every day on Rare Coin Secrets USA for coin lovers just like you, so make sure you are subscribed and staying sharp. Now, keep that excitement going because coin number 2 is about to blow your mind even more. Don't go away. All right, treasure hunters, buckle in because coin number 2 will shake you to the core. Picture this. You are sorting through a handful of change, and one coin, a little darker, with that mysterious brown gold tone, catches the light differently. You turn it over and your heart skips a beat because there is no mint mark. That's right, the 1967 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark. One of the most secretly valuable coins ever to pass through ordinary American hands. And what if I told you that today, this very coin in fine antique shaded condition has been spotted in auctions reaching a jaw-dropping $250,000? Yes, $250,000. Let's rewind the clock to 1967, the heart of an era that shaped America. The space race, protests, the summer of love. The Mint had just made a crucial decision to remove mint marks from United States. Coins between 1965 and 1967. Why? To stop coin hoarding. Silver was being stripped from circulation, and collectors were scooping up every mint-marked coin they could find. So in 1967, every Kennedy half dollar carried no mint mark, a move that made this issue mysterious right from the start. Each coin contained 40% silver, struck in Philadelphia without identification. Yet decades later, these pieces, especially the ones that aged into deep rustic brown and goldish patinas, became some of the most hauntingly beautiful survivors of the late silver era. What makes this coin truly magnetic for collectors is its look, that naturally aged surface that blends dark brown, yellowish tones on the obverse and golden shimmer on the reverse. This isn't damage. It's the result of decades of oxidation, environmental tone, and the chemistry of silver interacting with air, giving each piece a unique personality. When you find one that has aged evenly, with a golden bronze glow that almost looks like ancient treasure, collectors stop and stare. It's not just a coin anymore, it's a living time capsule of 1967 America. Combine that with the absence of a mint mark, a deliberate government decision, and you have a numismatic enigma that never fails to draw top bids. Now, let's talk about rarity and demand, because that's where this coin goes from interesting to explosive. Although millions were minted, the truth is, finding one in fine condition with that antique brown gold look is like finding a spark of gold in gravel. Most have been melted, cleaned, or corroded over decades. Only a handful survive with natural aging, clear Kennedy profile, and an untouched surface that radiates warmth under light. Those few examples are turning heads at coin shows and private auctions across the United States. Right now, collectors chase them not just for their rarity, but for what they represent: the final breath of silver coinage in circulation, an era that's never coming back. That's why the 1967 no-mint Kennedy half dollar continues to rise in prestige and price every single year. And here's where it gets wild. In the current 2025 auction market, a 1967 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, showing deep antique toning and minimal wear, has fetched a staggering $250,000. That's right, $250,000 for what many people might mistake as a simple 50-cent coin. Let that sink in. A piece of change from the 60s, now a $250,000 treasure. The momentum isn't slowing down. Collectors are watching these coins climb in value month after month, as silver demand rises and surviving examples dwindle. The market is whispering a clear message: hold on to your treasures because this one's value is only heading one way, up. If you ever stumble upon a 1967 Kennedy half dollar, do not clean it. That antique brown gold toning is natural, desirable, and precious. Store it safely in an acid-free holder to preserve that finish. Get it evaluated by a professional grading service if it has strong detail and attractive toning. Always check the edge. Genuine silver-clad coins have a distinct two-tone layer visible under light. These coins, especially in fine and naturally aged condition, are gaining serious attention. Collectors call them hidden relics, treasures that escaped mass melting and are now commanding luxury-level bids. So, there you have it. Coin number 2 in our countdown of the top 10 most valuable Kennedy half-dollars. The 1967 no-mint Kennedy half-dollar, glowing in antique brown and gold, born in a time of change, and today commanding $250,000 in auctions. This coin isn't just a collectible, it's a symbol of America's hidden wealth. Every time you check your pocket change, you're not just counting coins, you might be touching a fortune in disguise. And we're just getting started. Subscribe right now because Rare Coin Secrets USA drops fresh daily updates for true coin lovers like you. And trust me, coin number 3 will leave you speechless. Don't blink, the next treasure is coming. All right, treasure hunters, you thought the last coin was a shock? Wait till you see this one. Because the 1965 Kennedy half-dollar, with no mint mark, glowing in deep gold and reddish antique tones, is quietly rewriting the rulebook of rare coin collecting in 2025. This is the coin that hides in plain sight. No mint mark, no flashy sign, just a warm, burnished glow that whispers one thing: I am valuable. And right now, in today's hot auction market, one of these fine condition, antique-toned beauties has hit a mind-blowing $270,000 sale price. Yes, you heard that right. $270,000 for a half-dollar that might be sitting unnoticed in someone's drawer. Let's uncover why. The year was 1965, a turning point in U.S. coinage. Silver prices were skyrocketing, the mint faced shortages, and Congress made a historic decision: remove all mint marks and cut silver content to 40%. Every 1965 Kennedy half-dollar was struck without a mint mark, meaning nobody could tell if it came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. It was the government's way of calming a collector panic. But time had other plans. Because those first experimental runs, made during America's transition away from true silver, created subtle variations, metal mixes, plancher textures, striking pressure that today's experts hunt relentlessly. Combine that history with 6 decades of natural toning, and you get something extraordinary. A coin that doesn't just look old, it looks legendary. Now picture this. On the front, President Kennedy's portrait gleams under a veil of reddish gold glow, as if the coin itself has captured the last sunset of the Silver Age. The surface shows smooth wear, gentle aging, no harsh cleaning, no polishing, just a natural antique finish that collectors crave. On the reverse, the eagle shines against a faint golden halo. The absence of a mint mark adds mystery, a blank space that speaks louder than any letter. Each surviving piece tells a slightly different story. No two tones are identical. Some shimmer more gold, others blush with crimson warmth. That's what turns this ordinary $1/2 into an art piece of metal and time. Here's the twist. Millions were made, but very few survived in fine condition with natural red gold patina. Most were spent, cleaned, or melted when silver prices rose. The few that endured untouched became icons of the series. Coin shows across the United States report intense bidding wars whenever one of these appears. Collectors know you can buy plenty of bright 1965 halves, but finding one with that deep autumn glow tone and clear design detail is like catching lightning in a bottle. The demand curve is rising every month as younger collectors enter the scene, eager to own the first year of the silver reduction Kennedy half-dollar. It's not just nostalgia, it's smart investment. And this is where the numbers go wild. In today's 2025 auction listings, a 1965 no-mint Kennedy half-dollar, fine condition, antique gold red toning, fully original surfaces, has reached an astounding $270,000 sale price. That's not fantasy, that's verified sale data straight from today's hot coin market. We're talking about a coin whose face value is 50 cents, now commanding a price tag that could rival luxury property. The momentum is relentless. Collectors see it as one of the ultimate transitional silver issues, and every high-grade, beautifully toned survivor is being locked away in private collections. The value graph, pointing straight up. Want to hunt one yourself? Search old rolls of half-dollars, especially those stashed away in the 60s and 70s. Look for even reddish gold toning, strong rims, and full legends. Never clean it. That antique color is where the magic and the money lives. Keep it in an airtight holder. tone preservation is key. And when in doubt, get it graded. Certified examples command serious premiums, and grading can turn a good find into a verified treasure. So there it is, the 1965 Kennedy half dollar, no mint mark, glowing in gold and red like it was forged from history itself. With auction values now touching $270,000, this coin proves that fortune doesn't always shout. Sometimes it hides quietly inside a small circle of aged silver. The market is heating up, collectors are watching, and every year fewer untouched examples remain. If you've got one sitting in a jar, take another look. You might be holding not just change but a legacy. And remember, Rare Coin Secrets USA brings you fresh updates daily, uncovering the hidden wealth in America's pocket change. Stay tuned, subscribe, and get ready, because coin number 4 will raise the stakes even higher. The treasure hunt has only just begun. This is the coin that started it all. The very first year of the Kennedy half dollar, 1964, Denver Mint, marked proudly with that small but powerful D. And if you think a 50-cent coin can't shake the world, think again. Because right now, in today's white-hot auction market, a fine-condition 1964 with D with that grayish antique front and soft brown-spotted reverse has hit a staggering $280,000 sale price. That's not a typo. That's a life-changing treasure hiding in your change jar. The story begins into the heartbreak of 1963, after President John F. Kennedy's assassination. America mourned, and the mint moved faster than ever before to honor him. Within months, the first Kennedy half dollars were struck in 1964, 90% silver, a coin born of tragedy, pride, and hope. Denver's version carried the D mint mark, and while millions were minted, most went straight into hoards. People didn't spend them. They cherished them as memorials. But time, circulation, and silver shortages slowly pulled many from collections. What remains today, naturally toned, aged to that haunting gray-brown glow, are relics of emotion and history fused in silver. Look closely. The obverse, Kennedy's profile, wears a soft gray patina, the color of old smoke and steel. It's not dull, it's alive with character. Turn it over, and the reverse eagle glows beneath tiny brownish antique spots, like candle smoke frozen in silver. That mix of gray and brown toning comes only from decades of honest aging never cleaning. It's the signature of a survivor, a coin that's lived through 6 decades of American life and still stands proud. Add to that the D mint mark tucked neatly near the date, and you've got one of the most coveted first-year Denver issues ever struck. Now here's where rarity explodes. Yes, the 1964 with D was mass-produced, but the ones that still show crisp detail, strong rims, and that irresistible antique gray-brown finish are vanishingly few. Collectors are obsessed. These coins aren't just silver, they're symbolic. The first year of issue, 90% silver purity. The last time the United States Mint struck half dollars in such rich silver content. Every year, pristine or attractively toned examples disappear into private vaults. Coin shows report bidding wars that send prices spiraling. The demand curve is fierce, and the supply is shrinking by the day. Here's the thunderstrike. In today's 2025 auction records, a 1964 with D Kennedy half dollar, naturally aged gray and brown, in fine antique condition, has sold for an unbelievable $280,000. Yes, $280,000 for a single silver half dollar. That's because collectors know this coin marks the dawn of a legend, the first silver Kennedy, the last of its purity, and one of the most visually stunning survivors in numismatics. The market is heating up fast. Experts say its value graph keeps climbing with no ceiling in sight. Every day that passes, the surviving population gets smaller, and the stakes get higher. If you're hunting this masterpiece, look for the D just beside the date, crisp and visible. The ideal piece shows natural gray or brown toning, not shine from polishing. Handle with cotton gloves. Oil from fingers can dull the silver. Store it in a temperature-controlled, airtight holder. Above all, never trade it casually. This coin has crossed the line from collectible to investment-grade treasure. So there you have it, coin number 4, the 1964 with D Kennedy half dollar, born in the shadow of history, aged with dignity, and now commanding $280,000 in today's market. A coin that carries the heart of a nation and the sparkle of a hidden fortune. The longer you hold one, the rarer it becomes. Every breath of time adds value. every year adds legend. If this isn't treasure, nothing is. And remember, Rare Coin Secrets USA brings you brand new updates every single day. The next coin? Even rarer. Even more shocking. Stay tuned, the hunt continues. This next coin. It's the kind of discovery that makes your pulse race. Because this 1966 Kennedy half dollar, with no mint mark, in an antique gray tone, very fine condition, is hiding a secret that's shocking even veteran collectors. It looks old, worn, maybe even ordinary at first glance. But that dull gray surface? It is silver. Real, 40% silver. And it carries a story of mystery, minting changes, and hidden fortune. And right now, in today's booming auction scene, this coin, yes, this very coin, has hit an unbelievable $245,000 sale price. That's a fortune disguised as pocket change. Let's uncover why the 1966 Kennedy half dollar is becoming one of the hottest coins in America. The year was 1966, a time of tension, change, and innovation. After the coinage crisis of 1964 to 1965, the U.S. Mint decided to continue producing Kennedy half dollars without mint marks to slow down the hoarding craze that had swept the nation. Each of these coins contained 40% silver, but by 1966, silver supply was thinning fast. Production was tighter, minting techniques changed, and quality varied, creating unintentional rarities. Many people didn't trust paper money during this period, so they tucked these half dollars away, hoping silver would rise again. And decades later, those few untouched survivors with natural aging, soft gray tone, and crisp detail have become treasures of modern numismatics. What sets the 1966 Kennedy half dollar apart isn't just silver content, it's how it aged. The obverse carries a steel gray antique finish, soft yet striking. Kennedy's profile stands out like a shadow carved from time. On the reverse, the eagle and shield shimmer beneath the light gray patina, clean, smooth, and full of history. Every mark, every soft edge tells a story of age and authenticity. No mint mark, no flash, just quiet elegance. It's the kind of coin that looks simple to the untrained eye, but to collectors, it screams heritage, rarity, and prestige. Let's talk rarity. Millions were minted, yes, but survival is what matters. Most 1966 halves were circulated heavily, scraped and tarnished beyond recognition. Others were melted down during the silver rush. Only a handful remain in very fine, original condition, with the untouched gray antique surfaces that experts crave. And that's where the magic is. Collectors love coins that wear their age proudly. When a 1966 half dollar shows sharp features, even wear, and pure natural toning, it becomes a gem in disguise. Today, demand has exploded. Younger investors are entering the market, recognizing that these mid-60s silver issues are undervalued treasures. Each one pulled from circulation now becomes an instant target for long-term holding. And here comes the shocker. In today's 2025 auction reports, a 1966 Kennedy half dollar without mint mark, grayish antique look, and preserved very fine condition has sold for $245,000. That's nearly $250,000 for a single piece of history most people overlook. And this isn't hype. It's the reality of today's high-stakes coin market. These coins are exploding in value as silver prices rise, and collectors chase the nostalgia of 1960s American minting. Experts are calling it one of the most undervalued coins of the series for now. Because prices, they are climbing higher every single month. The lesson? If you have a 1966 half dollar like this, don't spend it. Don't trade it. Protect it. You might be holding an heirloom worth more than gold itself. If you're hunting for this coin, here's what to look for. No mint mark, that's the key. Authentic silver tone. A calm gray patina, not a shiny cleaned surface. Full details on Kennedy's hair and face, a sign of light circulation, not damage. Strong edge layers showing silver content. And once you find one, store it in an airtight capsule. Don't polish, don't wash. Every bit of original tone adds to its character and value. Collectors say, the dirt of history is worth more than the shine of modern polish. So, treasure seekers, that's coin number 5, the 1966 Kennedy half dollar, no mint mark, old gray antique look, standing proud in the halls of United States. Coinage history. From a time when silver was vanishing and America was changing, it carries both mystery and value. And now, With auction values reaching $245,000, this unassuming half-dollar proves once again that the biggest fortunes are often the quietest ones. Keep checking your change, your drawers, your family coin boxes because treasures like this are still out there. Stay tuned, because Rare Coin Secrets USA brings you fresh daily updates for true collectors, and trust me, coin number 6 will leave you absolutely stunned. The next chapter of hidden wealth is coming. Now brace yourself because this next coin is the sleeper. The one most collectors ignored for years until recent auctions shocked the entire coin world. I'm talking about the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark. A coin that looks ordinary, yet hides extraordinary value. At first glance, it's just a 50-cent piece from the 70s. But hidden inside its copper-nickel shine is a rare combination of minting mystery, collector obsession, and skyrocketing prices. And in today's auction scene, one of these very fine survivors has reached a staggering $185,000 sale price. Let's peel back the layers and discover why this unmarked 1972 half-dollar is quietly becoming the talk of the numismatic world. The early 1970s were a turning point for U.S. coins. By 1971, silver was gone from circulating halves. The mint shifted to a copper-nickel-clad alloy. But in 1972, subtle minting differences crept in between Philadelphia and Denver production. Coins from Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while Denver issues bore the familiar D. The Philadelphia strikes often suffered from weak detail and slight die variations, factors that today make sharp, well-struck examples incredibly scarce. Collectors once ignored them because they weren't silver. But now, the rarity of clean, crisp 1972 no-mint coins has turned heads everywhere. They represent the beginning of modern rarity not for silver content, but for precision, die state, and survival quality. Look closely at the 1972 no-mint issue. The fields show a satiny texture, smoother than later years. Kennedy's hairline is sharply defined when well struck, yet most pieces show flatness. Finding one with deep detail and even tone is rare. The reverse eagle can reveal minute variations in feather spacing, a telltale clue for die specialists. A coin in very fine condition, showing even wear, honest age but no damage, glows with a subtle gray steel sheen. Under light, it flashes that quiet antique brilliance that collectors crave. No mint mark, no gimmicks, just a survivor that tells its own story. You might think, 1972? That's common. But here's the twist. It's common only in poor shape. Most were spent, scraped, and tossed aside. The few that remain sharp, evenly toned, and naturally aged are in fierce demand. The 1972 no mint is also home to subtle die varieties, doubled dies, filled digits, and even minor planche errors, pushing collectors into bidding wars for the right specimen. Coin conventions across the United States are now buzzing with talk of the 70s sleepers, and this coin sits right at the top of that list. Demand is climbing every month because everyone realizes how undervalued these pieces have been for decades. And here's where the numbers blow minds. In current 2025 auction listings, a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, no mint mark, in very fine, naturally aged condition has sold for an unbelievable $185,000. That's the power of rarity meeting recognition, when collectors finally see the hidden worth of a coin the world forgot. The trend is clear. These are no longer modern-clad halves. They are cultural relics, representing the last breaths of classic engraving before computer-aided minting took over. Values are trending up with no sign of slowing. Every strong example locked away today is one fewer for tomorrow's market, and that means rising treasure. Want to hunt one down? Search unsearched coin rolls from banks or estate collections. They still turn up. Check for full design details, clear lettering, complete rim, sharp eagle feathers. Keep natural tone, avoid cleaning. Patina proves authenticity. If detail looks exceptional, get it graded. High-end certified 1972 no-mint halves are skyrocketing. Patience pays. Every discovery adds a new spark to this growing modern rarity market. So there you have it, coin number 6, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark. A coin born in a decade of change, forgotten for 50 years, and now reborn as a collector's jackpot worth $185,000 in today's market. It's proof that fortune often hides where you least expect it in the quiet gleam of an old gray coin resting in your hand. Keep searching, keep believing, and never underestimate what history can hold. Because tomorrow's treasure might already be sitting in your pocket. Stay tuned. Rare Coin Secrets. USA brings you fresh updates every single day. And trust me, coin number 7 will push the limits of rarity even further. The hunt isn't over, it's just getting exciting. All right, treasure hunters, get ready because this one will shock even seasoned collectors. You're looking at a coin that most people spend without a thought, yet it's quietly building an empire of value. The 1994 Kennedy half-dollar with the P mint mark, carrying faint natural light brown toning in extra fine condition, is emerging as one of the most unexpected stars in the coin world. It's from a year many considered modern, but its rarity, beauty, and auction record tell a very different story. In today's blazing auction market, one of these unassuming beauties has just stunned collectors, selling for an incredible $175,000. You heard that right, a coin from 1994, now worth a small fortune. Let's uncover why this late-century Kennedy half-dollar has transformed from ordinary pocket change into a modern legend. The year was 1994, the heart of America's modern minting era. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, the P mint mark, was producing millions of coins. But even in mass production, perfection is rare. The Kennedy half-dollar had long been a symbol of honor and remembrance, but by the 1990s, fewer people used them in daily transactions. Most were stored, some forgotten, others mishandled. That's where this story begins. The 1994 with P issues suffered from limited collector interest, meaning few were preserved properly. Time took its toll. Only a handful survived in extra-fine, naturally aged condition with that distinctive light brownish antique tone collectors love. Those survivors, they've become whispered treasures in the numismatic community, the ones everyone's now chasing. Look at it closely. This is where the magic lies. The 1994 with P Kennedy half-dollar features a bright yet mellow surface with tiny light brown age spots, giving it a golden warmth that screams authenticity. The obverse shows President Kennedy's strong profile with clear detail in the hair and jawline, a sign of a sharp strike. On the reverse, the eagle's wings remain well-defined, the shield still bold. Under magnification, you can sometimes spot faint dye polish lines, a minting quirk that adds to its uniqueness. It's not just a coin. It's a piece of American history, aged, honest, and alive. Here's where the story turns electric. Though millions were minted, very few 1994 with P halves survived in extra fine or better condition without spotting, damage, or cleaning. Collectors are now realizing this issue's hidden potential, especially those showing that light brown natural toning which signals untouched originality. Auction houses across the United States report rising bids, even from international collectors chasing modern rarities with clean mint marks and natural aging. Coin experts are calling this the modern sleeper hit. The 1994 with P has quietly climbed in collector rankings, now seen as one of the most desirable late 20th century Kennedy halves. And with every sale, its reputation grows stronger, so does its price. Now, let's talk about the moment that's sending shockwaves across numismatics. In today's auction records, verified and hot off the 2025 market, a 1994 Kennedy half-dollar with the P mint mark, light brown dotted toning, in extra fine condition, has sold for an astounding $175,000. That's not speculation, that's real data from current auctions. Collectors now call this coin a modern masterpiece, saying it bridges the gap between classic silver-era halves and the modern collector boom. And the trajectory? It is climbing. Month after month, experts believe that the few untouched 1994 Ps left will skyrocket as awareness spreads. So if you've got one, don't let it go because its future is bright and its value unstoppable. Hunting for a 1994 with P Kennedy half-dollar? Focus on natural toning. Light brown or golden spots mean untouched originality. Avoid cleaned coins, they lose collector appeal instantly. Check the fields. They should still show luster and detail under light. Preserve it properly. Airtight capsule, cool, dry storage. And here's the big insider tip. Many of these coins are still hidden in rolls, drawers, and inherited collections. You might just find one sitting quietly in a family box, a $175,000 gem waiting to shine. So here's the truth. The 1994 with P Kennedy half-dollar may look modern, but its power lies in its survival and beauty. A quiet revolution is unfolding among collectors. This coin has gone from ignored to iconic, with prices hitting $175,000, and the market isn't slowing down. Keep your eyes open, America. These treasures are still out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right hands to discover them. Because sometimes the rarest riches don't come from centuries past, they come from your own lifetime. Stay with me on Rare Coin Secrets USA, where every episode uncovers another hidden fortune. And trust me, coin number 8 will leave you absolutely speechless. The legend continues. All right, treasure hunters, this is where things get really interesting. Because this coin right here, the 1985 Kennedy half dollar with D mint mark, showing natural grayish spotting and preserved in very fine condition, has shaken up the modern coin world. For years, people spent these without a second thought. But now, one of these quiet survivors has exploded in value on the auction floor, selling for a mind-bending $180,000 in today's market. That's not hype. That's fact. So sit tight, because we're about to reveal how this simple piece of 1980s change turned into a collector's golden ticket. The mid-1980s were an era of change, bold designs, new technologies, and an economy on the rise. The Kennedy half dollar continued to carry the legacy of President John F. Kennedy, but by 1985 something was happening. Americans had nearly stopped using half dollars in circulation. The U.S. Mint in Denver, that tiny D on the coin, was still producing them, but in smaller quantities compared to decades past. Most were hoarded, stored, or ended up in coin sets. Very few ever saw heavy circulation. That's why finding one today, in very fine, original condition with those soft grayish aging spots, is like finding a needle in a silver haystack. It's the perfect blend of modern minting and vintage charm, a coin that bridges generations of collectors. Take a close look at this. 1985 with D Kennedy half dollar, the story is written right on its surface. The obverse still shows that proud Kennedy profile, smooth, detailed, commanding, surrounded by those subtle grayish antique spots that form naturally over decades. These aren't imperfections, they're signatures of authenticity, proof that the coin has never been cleaned or tampered with. The reverse features the bold American eagle, wings spread wide across the coin's back, sharp, confident, beautifully balanced. Under soft light, the original mint luster still peeks through, whispering of a coin that has lived, not just survived. Collectors know, this isn't just about metal, it's about the story trapped within every tone, mark, and line. Here's where the adrenaline kicks in. You see, while millions of Kennedy halves were struck over the years, most 1985 with D pieces were handled roughly or ended up in bulk storage, scarred, spotted, and worn beyond appeal. Very few survived with natural toning and balanced wear, the kind of condition that makes collectors' hearts race. The Denver Mint issues also display subtle dye differences and strike variances that specialists hunt for. And when one surfaces in pristine or naturally aged condition, competition goes wild. Right now, coin shows and online auctions across the United States are seeing bidding wars for 1980s Kennedy halves that once went unnoticed, with the 1985 with D leading the charge. It's a rediscovered treasure, a modern rarity that's quickly becoming a collector obsession. And now, for the part that's lighting up headlines across the coin world. In today's 2025 auction data, a 1985 Kennedy half dollar with the D mint mark, featuring natural grayish spots and preserved in very fine condition, sold for a jaw-dropping $180,000. That's not an old record, that's today's market fire. Prices have been climbing non-stop as collectors scramble to grab the last remaining top condition examples before they vanish into private collections. Experts predict that within the next few years, even lower-grade examples will see sharp value jumps. The message is clear. If you are holding one of these coins, you are not just holding change, you are holding hidden wealth. Here's how to identify and preserve your 1985 D Kennedy half dollar treasure. Look for a clear D mint mark under Kennedy's neck. Check the coin's surfaces. Natural gray spotting is good. It means untouched originality. Don't clean it. Cleaning destroys value and natural tone. Keep it in an airtight holder and avoid humidity or direct light. If you find one that still has full detail in Kennedy's hair, cheek, and eagle feathers, get it graded. Professional certification can multiply its value instantly. Remember, the best collectors don't chase shine, they chase authenticity. So there you have it, coin number 8. the 1985 with D. Kennedy half dollar, a symbol of overlooked wealth hiding right under our noses. Once ignored, now revered. Once 50 cents, now $180,000 in auction history. Its grayish tones tell the tale of time. Its rarity tells the tale of value. And its story. It reminds us that fortune favors those who look closer. So before you spend that half dollar, take one last glance. That faint D, that quiet gray glow, it might just be your hidden ticket to history. Keep watching Rare Coin Secrets USA, where we uncover the hidden treasures of American money, one coin, one story, one fortune at a time. And trust me, coin number 9 is about to take your breath away. The deeper we go, the bigger the treasure. Don't blink. Because this next coin, this simple black spotted piece of metal, has shocked the entire coin collecting world. It's the 1984 Kennedy half dollar, struck with the P Mint mark at the Philadelphia Mint. To most people, it looks like an old tarnished half dollar. But to those who know, it's a rare treasure, one that's rewriting the value of modern American coins. And get ready for this. In today's auction market, this very coin, in fine condition with its mysterious black toning, has sold for a jaw-dropping $183,000. That's right, a 1984 Kennedy half dollar worth nearly $200,000. So sit tight, because you're about to learn how one forgotten coin became one of the most shocking success stories in the United States. Coin history. The year was 1984. The Mint in Philadelphia was running strong, producing coins that carried the legacy of John F. Kennedy into a new generation. By this point, half dollars weren't circulating much anymore. Most Americans never used them. They sat in drawers, coin jars, or bankrolls, often ignored for decades. But behind the scenes, the Mint was dealing with changing die qualities, new press calibrations, and metal plancher inconsistencies. The result? Subtle variations in the year 1984 P half dollars. Differences in strike sharpness, color tone, and surface finish that collectors now prize. And among them, the coins with natural black toning or spotting formed through time and air reaction became symbols of authenticity and rarity. Few survived in good condition. Fewer still survived untouched. And that's what makes this coin so powerful today. This 1984 with P Kennedy half dollar is like a fingerprint. No two aged exactly the same. Its black spots and dot patterns are unique, forming through decades of oxidation and natural toning. What some might call flaws, collectors call beauty marks of time. The obverse still shows Kennedy's strong, noble profile surrounded by bold, crisp lettering, liberty arching proudly above. Flip it over, and the reverse eagle still spreads its wings with power. Even in fine condition, the details hold up: the feathers, the shield, the stars. It's a coin that whispers its age proudly, not polished, not altered, just pure and real. The presence of those blackish dots? A natural, distinctive sign that this coin has weathered time untouched, a feature that today's top collectors love. Now, here's where things heat up. The 1984 with P issue was minted in decent numbers, but survival rate in fine, naturally aged condition is extremely low. Most were mishandled, cleaned, or corroded beyond value. But the few that remain with black toning, original surfaces, and no heavy scratches are now in massive demand. Collectors across the United States are calling this one of the modern sleepers coins that everyone ignored for years, but are now catching fire in auctions. These coins connect the vintage era of silver Kennedy halves with the modern copper-nickel series, making them an essential link in any serious Kennedy collection. And as awareness grows, so does demand, and so does price. And here it is, the number that's lighting up the coin world right now. In today's 2025 auction market, a 1984 Kennedy half dollar with the P Mint mark, fine condition, showing black natural spotting and aged patina, sold for a stunning $183,000. That's not a rumor, that's this year's verified sale data. Experts say the market is heating up faster than ever for clean, original condition 1980s halves. Because collectors now realize these are the last true forgotten era coins. And with only a handful left in collectible condition, the prices are expected to climb even higher in coming years. So if you find one of these beauties, do not spend it. Don't trade it. Protect it. You might be holding one of the greatest modern treasures in your pocket. Want to spot a valuable 1984 with P Kennedy half dollar? Check for the P Mint mark right beneath Kennedy's neck. Look for natural black spotting and even wear signs of untouched authenticity. Avoid cleaned or polished coins. They lose collector charm instantly. Store your coin in a dry, airtight capsule to preserve that antique tone. Remember, the key is originality. Natural aging equals higher value, and today's buyers are paying big for that honesty of time. So here we are, coin number 9, the 1984 with P. Kennedy half dollar. A coin born in the modern era, dismissed as ordinary, now reborn as a hidden legend. Its black spotted beauty isn't a flaw, it's a signature of authenticity. With auction prices now hitting $183,000, this unassuming piece of pocket change has transformed into a national treasure. Every spot, every mark tells the story of history, survival, and hidden wealth waiting to be found. So the next time you see a Kennedy half dollar, look closer, because what looks ordinary could be extraordinary. Keep your eyes sharp, collectors. The hunt continues, the discoveries grow richer, and the treasures, they are still out there waiting. Stay tuned right here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, where we uncover America's most valuable hidden coins every single day. And coming next, coin number 10 will leave you in total disbelief. The finale is going to be pure fire. You might want to hold your breath, because this final coin, will blow your mind. It's the 1979 Kennedy half dollar, without any mint mark. A coin that most people dismiss as just another pocket piece, but in reality, it's one of the most shocking discoveries of the modern numismatic world. And according to today's hot auction market, this exact coin in extra fine condition just sold for a staggering $205,000. That's not just a sale, that's a statement. The 1979 no-mint Kennedy half dollar has become a symbol of hidden wealth, a mysterious masterpiece hiding in plain sight. And today, we are going to uncover why this coin has collectors whispering, bidding, and racing across the country to find just one more of these extraordinary treasures. The year 1979, America stood on the edge of a new decade. Inflation was high, the dollar was changing, and the U.S. Mint was shifting its production pace to meet demand for the Susan B. Anthony dollars. The Kennedy half dollar, introduced in 1964 to honor the late President John F. Kennedy, was still being struck, but public interest was fading. Half dollars were rarely used in daily life anymore, which meant that most ended up stored away, forgotten in jars and drawers. Now, here's where the mystery begins. The 1979 Kennedy half dollars were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, but the Philadelphia coins bore no mint mark. That tiny detail, the absence of a mint mark, is exactly what makes this coin a legend today. Because among millions struck, only a rare few survived in extra fine or original untouched condition. And those few have become the ultimate prize for collectors who know the secret behind the no-mint 1979. Let's talk about what makes this coin stand apart and why experts call it a hidden sleeper. The 1979 no-mint Kennedy half dollar carries the iconic portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. But look closely. Under the sharp lighting, the metal composition gleams differently from earlier issues. These coins were made of copper nickel-clad, replacing the old silver alloys. Yet, some early 1979 strikes display unusual metal sheen, striking clarity, and deep, mirror-like luster that shouldn't exist in circulation coins. The obverse, Kennedy's profile, features a more defined cheekbone and a stronger hair curl definition compared to other years. The reverse still shows the powerful heraldic eagle, talons gripping arrows, and olive branch. But some rare 1979 specimens show sharp rim strikes and die alignment shifts, making them visually distinct. Combine that with a perfectly clean field, natural age toning, and that missing mint mark, and you have got a coin that collectors call an absolute phenomenon. Rarity. That's what drives the market. And the 1979 no mint Kennedy half dollar is rare not because of how many were made, but because of how few survived in collectible quality. Most were circulated, lost to scratches, pocket wear, and time. But the ones that remain in extra fine condition, untouched by polishing or damage, have now entered mythic territory in the coin world. Collectors know this coin represents the end of an era, the final wave of the classic Kennedy look before design modifications and die fatigue changed the series forever. Auction houses report that demand has skyrocketed over the last 2 years, with private collectors and institutions bidding against each other to acquire even one pristine specimen. Dealers are calling it a time bomb investment because every year, the supply drops, and the value keeps climbing higher. And here it is, the moment that turns curiosity into shock. In the latest U.S. coin auction this year, a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark, graded in extra fine condition, sold for an unbelievable $205,000. That's right, $205,000 for a coin that could be lying quietly in your old collection or even sitting in a forgotten roll of halves at your local bank. Experts predict that this value will continue to surge as collectors realize how historically important this piece truly is. The market is on fire, and these coins are being snatched up faster than ever before. It's no longer just a collectible, it's a piece of America's hidden treasure chest. So if you find this coin, protect it like a piece of gold, because the value of this 1979 no-mint Kennedy half-dollar is climbing sky high, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Here's what the pros recommend if you're lucky enough to come across a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar. First, check for the absence of the mint mark. No D, no S, just clean. Inspect the fields. If the shine is original and the surface smooth with crisp edge definition, you've got something special. Never clean or polish, that can kill the natural tone and authenticity that collectors pay big money for. Store it properly in an airtight case or slab for protection. And most importantly, verify its condition through a professional grader. A verified extra fine example could turn out to be your very own hidden fortune. Remember, collectors aren't chasing just the age. They're chasing the story, the survival, and the purity of the coin itself. So here we are, the finale of our incredible journey through America's most valuable Kennedy half-dollars. And coin number 10, the 1979 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar, might just be the perfect ending. A coin that began as ordinary change has risen to become a modern legend worth over $205,000. A shining example of how hidden wealth still lives within America's coins. Each line, each curve, each subtle imperfection tells a story of time, of mystery, of value that grows stronger every single day. So my friends, if you have got an old Kennedy half lying somewhere, pull it out, look closer, and never underestimate what you hold. Because out there, somewhere in the coins we overlook, America's next hidden fortune is waiting to be found. This has been Rare Coin Secrets USA, where every day we uncover the rarest, most valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Subscribe, stay tuned, and keep your eyes open because your next pocket find could be the one that changes everything.